Where else can you go to see wild donkeys, experience natural hot springs all to yourself, and have one of the best free campsites in all of Nevada? Come with us to Spencer Hot Springs in Austin, Nevada. We'll tell you where to go, what to do, and how to get there in one of the most magical valleys we have ever been to.
Welcome to VO's Travel. Where to go and what to see. With kids!
Spencer Hot Springs is located in the middle of the Nevada desert. Most GPSs will take you straight there, but if not, you will head to Austin, Nevada on US Route 50, which is also the loneliest road in America, and head 13 miles east of that city until you get to US 376. There you will go south, and almost immediately you will take a left on Forest Service Road 001. It is not paved and at times can be very, very rigid and bumpy. We were driving an RV, so we did take it a little slower, but our max speed was maybe 10 miles per hour. It took us about 45 minutes to get down that bumpy road, but when you see this stop sign, which here is the backside, you'll take a left. Once you turn left, you will see all kinds of paths that you can drive on. The paths were very uneven and pretty rough at times, but we managed with our RV. There's a picture of the land that you will be driving on until you see some hot springs. There's about 4 to 5 natural hot springs within about an acre of land. These two right here were very natural and untouched. But this next one we came up on had a little deck built where you could sit on and dangle your feet in. This donkey was obviously taking advantage of it too for a nice little drink. Drinking from the hot spring.
Evening tea.
We're at hot springs where you can actually swim in.
Do not drink.
But this is not one of them because it's a little gross on the floor.
Look at the
But
donkeys.
it's actually hot.
We drove around and explored all the different hot springs until we came upon this one that somebody had put a blue tub in. That tub obviously made it a lot more comfortable to sit in, and it made it easier to get in and out of too. One little tip, there is a tube with the water flowing out of into that tub. If you let all of the water flow into the tub, it gets way too hot. But if the water is flowing completely out of the tub, it cools down and it gets kind of slimy. So you want to put the tube halfway in and halfway out, and that temperature will be just right. We are at Spencer Hot Springs. There's our camper, and there's the donkeys. Speaking of wild donkeys, they were everywhere. I bet there were 2 or 3 dozen just walking around minding their own business. They didn't bother us one bit. And at one point when I was back at the RV making dinner, they started walking up to the hot springs that my family were sitting in. I was cracking up. Like I said, they didn't bother them one bit. They just went up to the hot springs to get a drink. And my kids really enjoyed being so up close and personable with those donkeys. It was such an unbelievable time that we will never forget.
That was the best thing on earth, though. Like,
What was?
the hot tub thing.
Tell me about it.
It was really. We had 14 donkeys drinking out of the other hot spring next to us,
Oh my
which is
god.
really cool.
Yeah?
But also, it was really warm and hot. So either way, it was win-win. So yeah,
That's
it
awesome.
was, it was pretty nice.
And tell me about this sunset behind you here.
It's really cool.
I love you, buddy.
I do too.
By the way, all of this is BLM. BLM is Bureau of Land Management, and all of that type of land is free to stay the night on. So here you go. Just bring a car or an RV and you've got a free place to stay. After soaking in the hot springs, we made a fire and started to enjoy some snacks and took some pretty epic pictures like you can see here. You can't beat that sunset. This was on night 20 of a 26-day road trip, and this was our best camping site ever, and my kids would agree.
Hi.
What you doing?
Sitting in the fire and drinking some water.
The water tastes like our home.
This has probably been the prettiest campsite we've been at so far.
Like
This is
it?
the best campsite. I mean, there's wild mules.
And a sunset and the mountains and pie. I'm not gonna lie, my husband and I might have gotten into a little bit of a squabble as we were driving so far down that dirt road and not knowing what we were gonna come across. So, tell me about getting here.
The road was treacherous.
Treacherous?
It was very rippled.
And what were you thinking?
About 10 to 15 miles an hour. I thought this was the biggest waste of time.
Were you right?
I was wrong.
Who was right?
I don't think you knew either, so I don't think it's fair to say you were right. It was a shot in the dark and it paid off.
Oh, whatever.
Big
I don't get
gamble.
any credit.
I'll
The
give it
force
to you.
brought us
It was
here.
pretty amazing.
The force brought us
I brought you here.
Mom, watch this. He brought us here. He is the force.
It was kind of a shot in the dark, like we said, but it totally paid off. We would go back there in a heartbeat. I hope your experience at Spencer Hot Springs is just as amazing as ours. Before the hot springs, we had just come from Yosemite National Park, so make sure you check out that video as well. And after the hot springs, we were headed to the Bonneville Salt Flats, Salt Lake City, and Park City. Those videos are coming soon. Thank you so much for following us on our adventures. I love it when you subscribe to my channel. It really does help out tremendously. I appreciate your support. And as always, I hope you remember to choose joy and take all of the pictures.